It's been a few weeks since Sandy Senn won State Senate District 41. In this edition of Quintin's Close-Ups, I speak exclusively with her about that 5.26 sales tax proposal. Welcome back home.
Thank you, Quintin.
It's so good to see you, Sandy.
It's great to see you as always.
And I was trying to get you for an interview a couple weeks ago, but you were on a trip with your family.
Right, and about to go on another one. I'm making up for all that time, 7 months of working Saturdays, Sundays, everything through the election. And so now that we've had some free time for the summer, I'm doing what I promised my kids and taking them to have a little fun.
And I want to ask this a little early, but how do your kids feel about you being Senator Sandy Senn?
Well, I don't think they see that. They see me as just mom, and I want this, I need this, whatever it is. And so far, since that hadn't really started work, it hadn't affected them. So it's just plain old mom.
Speaking of which, describe to me the following one word: the 526 extension deadline.
The deadline?
Yeah, for the extension of the 526.
Overdue. And when I say that, I'm saying that I think that it's been long overdue, and county council stepping up and approaching the deadline like it was serious.
The half-cent sales tax proposal.
I think that's a good idea only if 526 is included on the referendum. Otherwise, I think West Ashley, James Island, Johns Island get left out, and I doubt very seriously it would pass.
And as we sit here right now, the local 1 cent gas tax, a lot of people are talking about that. What are you talking to your supporters about?
Right. Well, that's one of the things that I came up with, and I'm sure others may have thought of it, but that's one of the things that I've been preaching in my campaign trail and on my stump is that the smaller counties, they want Charleston County to continue with its same fractional share, pretty much share and share alike with the gas tax. I think that is not fair because we have the most road usage, as does about 9 other counties, 9 total. And so it needs to be factored based on road usage, not just road mileage. But I know the smaller counties need a share, and I don't begrudge them for that. But I do believe that we need to have more of the lion's share here in our area since our roads are being used. My thought was, if they want to pass a gas tax, and if it gets passed, even though I don't like any taxes, but if it gets passed, then what I would like to see, though, is that the legislature also approve that the locals be able to pass a local option gas tax. That would give us so much more money here in the low country, and it's voter dependent. It would get placed on the referendum. The voters decide if 1 cent is what we need to do or half cents or whatever, and the money stays right here in Charleston. We could do so much more with it. There would certainly be no more argument about whether there's money enough for 526. But again, it would take some legislation and some approval.
Let's go back to the runoff. The Post-Courier said this, quote, "In the Senate District 41 runoff, Sandy Senn defeated second-place challenger from 2 weeks ago, Roy Maybank. Senn collected 58% of the vote to Maybank's 42%, with all precincts reporting. The district covers James Island and other parts of Charleston into West Ashley and Dorchester County." You actually said this to Live 5 Days on Victory Night. You said this, quote, "It does appear that we have won the Senate District 41 seat. It was a hard-fought race. We've taken it home." What's home in your mind?
Well, I'm talking about bringing in the race for all of my supporters that were there, of course. They worked so hard. I mean, I can't tell you how many people, young, old, were out volunteering. Some I knew, some were in my family, some I didn't know. Just an awful lot of energy and a lot of energy even there that night on Victory Night. So when I say taking it home, hey, we won it, and I was very excited. On the other hand, I wanted you to know also that Roy Maybank called. He was very, very gracious, very gracious, and I appreciated both he and his family. They were all gracious after the race.
Yeah, Amanda. Let's turn to the issues again. You said this at your victory party that night. You said, quote, "We need to get police officers better insured," which I know how to do that. We need to work on possibly a local option gas tax versus the universal gas tax everybody has been talking about.
Absolutely.
So that the money stays locally. And I definitely want to have more vocational education, not just sending every child to college. We need to have them get the great moves at Boeing, Volvo, some of our great industries. So what would day one look like with Senator Sandy Senn?
Well, actually, even though I'm not employed as of
Right.
yet, and we still have to technically go through
Right.
the November election,
Sure.
I am getting phone call after phone call from other elected officials and getting input on their different ideas and whatnot already.
Oh, good.
Certainly, I think 526 is huge. That needs to happen, and so I would be working, trying to help maybe get some of that money back, if possible, that I felt was left on the table and then was taken away. But then also, with respect to the vocational training,
Right.
I feel as though we've got excellent students here in the Low Country, but yet a lot of our jobs are going to people moving here from Seattle. And I want to get our students trained, because a lot of them are going into college when that's really not what they want to do.
Right.
And they could get great jobs right out of college. They can go to Trident Tech for free in most instances and get these wonderful jobs. I think we need to do a better job of educating the parents and the students about what the possibilities are of just going straight, from Trident into a working environment. And as far as the police go, I definitely feel as though they need better insurance.
Okay.
They're insured by the South Carolina Insurance Reserve Fund up to $1 million, but there have been a lot of bad verdicts, and I have a lot of police officers that come into my office and worry that they're going to lose their houses. And in this terrible environment where officers are being shot at, and the other side, when it's high-profile cases where they've made split-second decisions, the very last thing they need to worry about is potentially losing their house. And in federal court, there is no cap on damages. So I believe that we need to shore up some of the some of the statutes that are already out there, and make sure it's clear that our officers will be covered in the event of some type of excess verdict, and that will not cost the state any more, because the Insurance Reserve Fund makes money. It's a money maker.
Okay.
And they have a big pot of cash sitting in reserves out there. But the problem is sometimes our legislature will come and take it away and put it to other projects.
Wow.
I think it needs to stay right there to protect our officers.
Speaking of course, let's go back to the election, because I want to talk to you about that lawsuit. According to the Post-Courier, earlier this year, a Charleston voter actually challenged you about your residency
Right.
inside the district last
Right.
year. And obviously a circuit court judge basically sided with you, saying that, hey, it's proper.
Right.
When the lawsuit was basically tossed out, what was going to your mind?
Well, I knew it was going to be tossed out. It was just a matter of when and how quickly we could get it done. It was clearly a political move being brought by a Democrat and brought on the eve of the election. And to tell you the truth, even though it was brought by a Democrat, who it could have benefited, though, would have been my competitor. So it was definitely some politics involved. The judge even acknowledged that on the transcript. But I knew and I expected that he would throw the case out, and he did.
And let's talk about, I guess you're using the Charleston County Sheriff's Office in your political ad. If you were to go back and do that now, what would you do differently?
Well, obviously, I wouldn't do anything that would upset my sheriff. I love my sheriff,
Yeah.
and I'm very, very close with him.
Yes.
And I think that we definitely had a misunderstanding there. I was told that any picture of a law enforcement officer, any videos, or anything else of our officers, whether they're in uniform, whole suits, anything, that those were free game if it was
Okay.
already on the internet.
Okay.
At the same time, in a lot of those pictures, I didn't know the officers,
Right.
didn't know how to reach out and say,
Right.
hey, can I put your likeness
Right.
on? And didn't feel like that was appropriate too. So I thought having their backs turned
Right.
and their badges blurred would have been enough, but it wasn't. So we corrected that immediately when
Yes.
he told us to, and everything's just fine now.
That is awesome.
He knows I'm a very strong supporter of
Right.
him and his agency.
Oh yes, yeah, you guys have been friends for a long time.
Right.
As we sit here right now, what is it like to be Sandy Senn these days? You're a senator-elect. You're going back home because Columbia. You went to USC. You worked as a page, I believe, in this house.
I did.
I mean, what is
I worked for a Democratic senator
That's right,
too.
that's right.
Which is odd because I still consider him very conservative. He is conservative.
Oh,
he just
wow.
never did quite flip over to the Republican side, even though he's a conservative guy.
Interesting.
But yeah, the whole process became interesting to me at that point in time, so it's something that I've always watched and paid attention to.
Yes.
I'm definitely not going home to Columbia, though.
Right,
I'm only
right,
going to
right,
be there 2 days
Days
a
of the
week.
week, yeah.
Yeah, so I'll be coming back home to Charleston.
Yes, that's so awesome. Well, Sandy Senn, it's always good talking to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Quintin. Good luck to you, buddy.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
See ya.